Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me get my P's and Q's straight. Sorry about that. I had to do a little troubleshooting. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let's vibe for another 30 seconds. Aloha, aloha, and mahalo. All right, so I think we're gonna kick it off talking about Lilo and Stitch. More so because I just recently saw it twice, and once in the movie theater, and it was definitely worth watching. A lot of controversy behind it, so that's what we'll start with. Now, if it's like, why am I looking around? It's because I got like I made like a monitor over here, got a monitor right here, got a monitor right there. So forgive me if I'm still trying to get my bearings straight where to look. If you just joining us, put a thumbs up in the chat so I know you here. So I got my real Hawaii beads on with the matching, you know, background, hooping. Some of the best times hooping in Hawaii. Don't get no better kind of sunset background than that. So, you know. And speaking of basketball, shout out to OKC Thunder. Shout out to the Indiana Pacers. And hopefully we won't have a boring finals. Um, Knicks, sorry you guys didn't make it. Hopefully next year you guys will get a little bit closer, but congrats on your season overall. I mean, I think it's definitely something to be proud of. And I mean, it definitely brought New York alive again, brought hope. I mean, brought people out of the sewers and the tunnels, had the Ninja Turtles on the rafters. So, great season. And shout out to my Warriors, who's probably going to grab Giannis. And, and we'll win it all next year. So, whoever wins this year, whether it's the Pacers or OKC, congrats on their first win. Once Warriors get Giannis, we about to run up another dynasty. So y'all get it while it's hot. And Knicks, I'm sorry. Maybe in another 20 years when Brunson's son joins the league, maybe y'all have another chance. Shout out to Raj, always bringing his positivity into the chat. We appreciate you. Definitely late, way later than I thought I was going to be. Technical difficulties. And I had a pre-live before the other day just to kind of work through some of the kinks and stuff. But, sometimes you just got to learn on the fly, know where to click. My bad. Excuse me. Sorry if I got a little phlegm in my throat. Your boy is sick. Got a whole thing going on, but I wanted to be here for y'all. I know I'll be leaving y'all out to dry, so I wanted to come and show my face, let y'all know I was still alive. But Raj just promised that if Giannis goes to Warriors, he's gonna pay for the tickets. Yeah, so I mean, better get your chittles up because that's what's about to happen. Now I don't know if we keeping Jimmy. I can't guarantee that. Probably not. Hell, I'll throw Draymond and Kuminga in there. They get Giannis. Something's gonna happen though. But y'all just keep your fingers crossed. Enjoy these finals, and we'll see who comes out on top. So, like I said, we're gonna start with Lilo and Stitch. One, because I just saw it recently. Also, there's like a little bit of controversy going on with the movie. Of course, I mean, I don't think there's a movie made these days that people won't complain about. Also, it's one of the newest movies that just came out. You got Mission Impossible 8, Hurry Up Tomorrow, and Karate Kid in there too. So we got a lot to talk about. Got lots to talk about. But before I get started, you guys can tell me if y'all been watching anything worth watching. Oh snap! It's Sunday, so that must mean this must have been the season finale of Mobland, huh? If y'all haven't been watching Mobland, it's a really good show. It got Bronson in it. Kate Mira, I think her name is. Let me see. Okay. Pierce Bronson. I'm Hardy. And you might know Joanne Froggatt. Maybe Patty Considine. Probably some other people you might not know of. This show is crazy. So it's out on Paramount Plus. It's a 10 episodes. The last episode was today. Thank you, Raj. Appreciate that. Um, it came out, started out at the end of March. Um, and it's like a British show, but like I said, they're filming it and it's on Paramount Plus, so anybody can tap in. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Raj, don't let me forget to talk about Mobland. That'll be the last thing that we talk about. I haven't seen the season finale, so no spoilers. But let me know if you have been watching it or if you were gonna watch it. Uh, if you were planning on watching it, we'll talk about it because you should be watching it. Yeah, I mean it's one of those shows that there's a little bit in there for everybody. I mean, if you're a fan of Tom Hardy, it's like real Tom Hardy, not so-called funny Tom Hardy from the Venom movies. It Pierce Bronson he's not playing the good guy, he's playing the bad guy. You know, everyone's kind of like Knives Out type. You don't know who to point the finger at. So I mean, there's a lot going on this show, man. Um, and then you also got like other kind of bad guys floating around in the background. So it's definitely worth watching. Definitely. Yeah, yeah. So probably circle back and talk about the season finale um, in a few days after I watch and kind of digest. I was really trying to figure out how I wanted to talk about it, you know, especially with stuff like if everyone's not watching it at the same pace, it's kind of hard to talk about something and spoil it, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to necessarily spoil anything, especially like before the season ended. But maybe if I give it a couple days after the finale, we can talk about it in detail. But I mean, we'll talk about it later at the end of the stream. But my disclaimer is now watch Mobland. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. Like I said, 10 episodes, Paramount Plus. You can find it by other means if you need to. All right. Also, peep how the beads match the shirt. This is real Hawaiian right here. So shout out to the island of Hawaii, the island, the islands of Hawaii or Hawaii. Shout out to Oahu, where I stayed some time at, and where they filmed this Lilo and Stitch movie. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So if you didn't know, Lilo and Stitch is a live reanimation from Disney from the 2003 animated version of Lilo and Stitch. A lot of people love this movie. I don't know. I never watched it before this year. And the animation I'm talking about, and the first time I watched it was right before this movie came out, if not right before I watched the movie, so that I can kind of get like a fresh uh, idea of it and trying to figure out like where the complaints and stuff were coming from people. Um, so essentially, what happens is there is this creature. I forgot. It's like his number. Like he doesn't even have a name. He just got like a number assigned to him. Something like 66 or something. Um, And I mean, I'm sure there's like super fans of the movie that's like, how could you forget the number? That's like his nomenclature, but it's like something 66 or something. But essentially, like he was created to be like this weapon of mass destruction, indestructible, none could stop him. And as a punishment, he gets exiled to Earth. And on his trajectory, they thought the aliens thought he was gonna land in the water and basically like sink down to the bottom of the ocean, never to be, heard from again. But he ends up landing on the island. So in the cartoon, it's not the island of Oahu. It's it's another island, and it's not Maui. Um, but also it's kind of like a made up island. Kauai, yeah, it takes place on Kauai, but it's kind of like the way they kind of mix it in there in the animation. I believe like it's not like a full like replica of the island, if that makes sense. But yeah, so it's on the island of Kauai in the animation, and then Oahu in the live action. Even though like it's not in like Waikiki, like it's like they mentioned North Shore and stuff, but like you won't like you won't to me it doesn't just stand out like, oh, that's Oahu. You just know you're in Hawaii. So essentially the alien gets landed on the island. There's also this girl named Lilo who is kind of a bit of a rebel, kind of a bit of a loner, kind of a person that doesn't have any friends. She's super young. She's like 6, and her parents just died. She's living with her older sister, Nani, who's probably like 18, 19, just graduated high school. And now her sister has to basically take care of her when her sister really doesn't know how to take care of her own self. So they're kind of like really struggling. You got, I don't want to call child services involved, and there's a very good chance that their family is going to be torn apart just because it's not working out. And then G66, for what I'll call him right now, lands on the island, uh, and is an alien, but changes himself to make him look kind of like a dog, or like a koala bear acting like a dog. It's crazy. So everyone's like, "What kind of animal is that?" And he's like, "Bark, bark." He don't even bark right. But he's very like highly intelligent, so he's able to kind of like look at things and analyze stuff and kind of you know adapt himself to what's going on around him. So there were big concerns that they weren't going to be able to like fully animate how he was in the cartoon, but I think as a live action adaptation, I think they brought that character, who is later called Stitch, to life. And the chemistry between him and Lilo, I think, are just great. So to Roger's point, the animated Lilo and Stitch should never have been redone, period. Yeah, and that's kind of like another controversy. Like Disney's trying to do all of these live action remakes. But I mean, for me, this has been one of the better ones that they've done, especially because it's still human based. Whereas, like, if you look at like Mufasa and Lion King, like, there's no humans in that. So you're just like on the Serengeti, and you kind of, excuse me, to me, you get kind of lost. Where I think this is predominantly humans, and even this kind of compared to the animation, some of the other aliens that follow behind Stitch, they turn human. So so Stitch kind of stands out on his own. Not to say that there's no like showing of the other aliens or anything, but you know, there's a way that they do it that makes sense, so that Stitch is the standout. And I think they did a really good job of doing that and really making it seem like, Lilo and Stitch had this great chemistry. So that's the synopsis. And it's about an hour and 48 minutes. It's rated PG. And it stars Maya Kaloha and in as Lilo, and then Signy Agudong as Nani, and they're both Hawaiian, which is really good, right? Because you like if you're gonna make a movie in Hawaii, like it's good to have natural born Hawaiians fulfill those roles, just like if they ever come out with that Moana movie, like you want that actress to be a Pacific Islander, keep it true to the character, right? I think they picked fantastic characters. And then Tia Carey, she used to play Nani. She was the voice of Nani in the animated movie. And so now she's playing one of the I don't want to call it diapers, but the child protective people. She's like the main character of that. And some people were complaining, right? Like, oh, where's Cobra Bubbles? He's supposed to be you know, the only child protective services person. But I mean, throwing Tia in there, I think was, chef's kiss. It was great to see her on the screen again, especially because she has tied to the original, right? And people love that movie and love her voicing that actress or that character of Nani. And then Amy Hill, who in this movie plays Tutu, but she plays like Mrs. V or whatever, like in the original. Um, so she's like one of the older ladies of the island, and she's kind of like reprising like a similar role um, in this movie. Bing Rames was Cobra Bubbles in the original, but he's not in this one. Oh, Miss Has Hasagwa, that's who Amy Hill played, and then yeah, but obviously Bing Rames isn't in this. But now it's the character of Cobra Bubbles is played by Courtney B. Vance, who is actually the husband um of Proud Wheels Keep on Burning of what is her name? Sorry. He is the husband of not Tina Turner, but the one that played Tina Turner. Angela Bassett. There you go. You beat me to it, Raj. You beat me to it. Yeah, Angela Bassett. Which is like a fun fact, something I found out like last year, which is crazy because they met in 1980, been together since 1997. So they've been together a long time, and you wouldn't even realize that they've been married that long. But I think he did a fantastic job playing Cobra Bubbles, and he still kind of has that CIA type of kind of like history, and then he puts himself in the child protective services so that he can get close to the Stitch and figure out what's going on. So there are some things that are missing from the original that people are complaining about. Basically, like there's a whole backstory with Cobra, Bubbles, and Pleaky and their relationship, like with the mosquitoes, and that's how the aliens and the humans have like this whole backstory. I don't think that makes a big deal. Like if you're going to watch this movie, if that little particular detail is gonna ruin the movie for you, then just don't watch it. Like for what this movie is by itself, like it was perfectly fine. Now a big thing that's missing is not Jumba, but Captain Gantu, and like essentially like I watched some videos of like the production people, and they were just like he's like a massive character, like high in the budget, and they wanted to kind of move things in a little bit of a different direction. And I think by doing that they were able to kind of whittle down some of like the extracurricular stuff that's going on in the story with the aliens conflict, and really kind of focus on the relationship between Lilo and Nani, which is a standout in this movie. And the relationship between the two actresses, I think is fantastic. And I think it like really helps pull you into the story, because in the animation you kind of have a feeling like, yeah, like they're sisters, and they rather be sisters than a mom and daughter dynamic. But like in this live adaptation, you really kind of see the struggles that Nani's going through, and then you recognize that Stitch being there and him being a troublemaker just makes things like 10 times harder. And I think Lilo is less of a like natural troublemaker. Like she doesn't just go along with anything. She's really trying to like kind of help Stitch turn over like a new leaf and be well behaved. But Stitch is just like who he is. So, that kind of dynamic just plays well together. Um, and you get like these funny scenes where, you know, Lilo and Stitch are just, either burning something down or, playing with like a water hose, or, you know what I mean? Or like rolling around the island on a little Power Wheels car. You there's a lot that you get, and you really get the dynamic of Nani trying to deal with Mrs. Kyoka, who is the child services lady, and seeing how that's affecting their family, and really how that's affecting her life, right? Being inconvenienced by their parents dying. The ending changes, right? People are not happy about how the way that the movie ends. Not going to spoil it, but they do go in a different direction. But as a person that has just seen these two movies back to back for the first time, I think that's the smartest way you can do it. Um, People want this to be like this fairy tale ending, but I think like this live animation is more grounded, and they still manage to make you feel for everybody. And even when people have to make hard choices, you still don't feel like people are giving up on each other. Um, so if you get caught up on kind of like what people are saying in the background and the reviews and the Rotten Tomatoes and all of that, you're gonna be like, oh, like they ruined it. But I really don't think they did. And the way that they kept everybody kind of connected makes sense in the movie. And I think they did it well thought out. And yeah, maybe they cut some corners and save some money. And I'm sure there's gonna be a 2 or a 3 or whatever. I think as a live action retelling of an animated movie, this is probably one of the best ones that Disney's ever had. Now, do I agree that this movie needed to be made? Absolutely not. I mean, it's over what, 20 years. Um, but did they ruin it? For me, no. And I think for kids, that have either grown up on the cartoon or just getting introduced to these characters and plushies and toys and all of that stuff, like I think it's going to be okay for them. So um, again, like it just came out, so I'm not gonna like go into details and spoil everything. But to me, it was worth watching. And even if you wait for it to come out on Disney Plus, if you don't want to go see it as a matinee, it's summertime. Take these kids, get them out the house, let them go enjoy themselves. But if you don't want to spend all that money on the popcorn and the soda and all of that, wait for it to come out on Disney Plus. It'll probably be out before the end of the summer, and just wait for it. And get everybody like we used to do, put them on the blankets on the floor with the big buckets of popcorn, and all of that stuff, and the Kool-Aid, and get all the candy from the gas station or the corner store or the bodega, and just enjoy it. And you can even do that now with the animated one. And I think there's a couple other ones. There's like a 2 and a 3, like a part 2, part 3. There's like maybe like a animated TV show or something. So like if you're just in the mood and you don't want to spend the money, but you got Disney Plus, I mean, you still got access to this stuff. So enjoy it. But shout out to the cast. I haven't seen the main actresses, Maya and Sydney, in anything before, but I think they're off to a really great start. And it seemed like they really built a ohana, meaning family, like on the set, and it seemed like everybody enjoyed working together on the production and putting this together. So, if anything, if any positivity is going to come out of it, I think it's going to be that everybody uh, really enjoyed making this movie. Questions, comments, concerns, put it in the comments. We can talk about it. Um, and outside of that, let me get a swig of water, and we can talk about Hurry Up Tomorrow. Which, if you don't know what that is, that's the movie with the weekend. All right, 1 second. Yo, on a side note, what y'all think about the new background? I see I changed up a lot. Tried to add some more color, a little bit more pop with the new sign in the background. Got some figures on display and everything. Trying to make it a little neater and nicer for y'all, man. So let me know if y'all like the new background. I wanted to start June out on the right on the good foot. All right, so hurry up tomorrow. So if you have not heard of this movie, this was a movie that I seen the trailer for like February, maybe March. It wasn't that long ago. And I was super excited about it. It stars the weekend, who also goes by the name of Abel Tesfaye. That's his real name. Um, and I didn't watch a full trailer. I just watched the teaser trailer, and I didn't know what to like what it was about, right? It stars Jenna Ortega also. And let's see the other dude's name. Uh, Barry Keoghan, right? Who is supposed to be the Joker in the Matt Reeves universe, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that. But yeah, so I was excited about this. It looked like kind of like I don't know, like a thriller, just a thriller. There wasn't like much said about like what it was or what it was gonna be about or whatever. I mean, you just knew these people were in it, and then you just saw like this, picture of like the weekend like cuffed to like a bed with like Jenna Ortega just standing over him, and it was just like, I'm in. I didn't know that there was going to be an album that was released in conjunction with this, also by the name of Hurry Up Tomorrow. Um, so you can go and listen to that, and you can watch the movie. And I don't know if you're going to necessarily get the same story out of listening to the album as you're watching the movie, but I think you can enjoy either or. You can also enjoy both. You might not like either one of them, but if you are a Weeknd fan, I think it's kind of important to talk about this a little bit, because there's a bit of controversy again against this, especially with the Weeknd's acting. I guess he's been in a couple different roles as of late, and his acting isn't the strongest. But I'll just say off top, like, I don't think his acting in this movie is as bad as people are making it seem. But people are also like clipping his like a one scene and putting it out there like, oh, this is him trying. Whereas if you watch the movie and put it in context, I think that scene stands out differently. So we'll talk about that. Raj said the clips I saw of the Weeknd's HBO movie showed me that he could not act. Yeah, again, like I got he's been in a couple different things. I think he's involved in Euphoria and then The Idol. Yeah, The Idol. So he's still coming off the backlash of that show, The Idol. And I guess as he's doing the press tour for Hurry Up Tomorrow, people are asking him like, why didn't it go well? But there are autobiographical things in Hurry Up Tomorrow that we need to talk about that may give a bit more context to what all of this is about and why we're here. And also just know that this is like autobiographical, kind of, sort of. Raj said, new background looks good. Batman Joker with lightning is fire. And I don't give compliments easy. Yeah, that's right. That thing is fire. That's fire. I had to drop everything to get that. It was crazy I seen that. People do like him and his music, so if he can make TV shows and movies good for him. Well, okay, so let's talk about it. So the whole thing is, to give kind of like a backstory just a little bit, I've been familiar with The Weeknd since 2011. All right. He dropped like 2 mixtapes. Um, and like there was not a girl that wasn't listening to The Weeknd. And the crazy thing is, so I heard The Weeknd's music through Drake, right? Um, and but like I said, but he dropped like 2 albums in 2011. So those 2 albums was called Thursday and I think Echoes of Silence. And I mean, to this day, like, even though I like a lot of his music, I think like those are like two of my favorite albums of his, like that I used to like listen to from the beginning. Like, and I mostly listen to most of the albums. Um, and even after I like watched the movie in the theater, like I was driving home and I was like listening back to like him in like live concerts and him singing all these like classics and stuff, man. And the nostalgia was just like right there. So I mean, if you want to think about how long Drake has essentially been on top as an artist, The Weeknd's been there the whole time too, right? um 20, no, 10 years. Yeah, a little over 10 years, 12, 13. Well, 14 really. Yeah, like 14 years. So, I mean, I think he's made as much of an impact as Drake has in the music industry. I mean, he came out with his own sound. Hell, I don't think Drake's first album would have been successful without him on it. Now, again, there was this whole controversy going on, like when Drake was beefing with Kendrick. Did I freeze? Okay, we're back. Um, yeah, so um, Drake, to me, was beefing with The Weeknd at the same time he was beefing with K. Dot last year. So that was this whole like, oh, he's fighting a war on two fronts. Don't know when stuff with them two went left. All I know is they helped each other in the very beginning, and I don't think either of them would have been as successful without each other. That's just my opinion. Now, the reason why I bring up The Weeknd's music is because Abel Tesfaye, which is his real name, is the character that he's portraying in this movie. Okay. And I guess there were some things that's happened over his career that he's tied into this movie that were significant for Abel in real life, so much so that he has in real life decided to retire the character or the persona of The Weeknd. So no matter what you think about the movie, no matter like what you think about his music or his last album, this is supposed to be like his last project as The Weeknd. So, if you were a fan of his, now I don't know if he's gonna transition into something else. It doesn't sound like he's gonna sing anymore. And I think that was why he was also trying to transition into acting, in producing, into writing, because I think he was trying to go in a different direction so that he wouldn't have to perform as an artist like that anymore. And one of the big things that happened is that he lost his voice on stage in real life. So that's like a significant part of this movie. Now it says that Tesfaye lost his voice during a concert in Los Angeles in 2022 and was forced to cut the show short. And he attributes the loss of his voice to a combination of self-imposed pressure and the mental strain of filming the show The Idol. He took that conflict and rolled that into Hurry Up Tomorrow. And that's where like the shift in the movie changes. So like when it opens up, like he's like The Weeknd and he's performing and he's at this concert, but he's dealing with some like personal issues, relationship issues. You're seeing like the human side of the persona, right? Supposedly. And he is managed by the character that Barry's playing, which is Lee. And Lee is supposed to be like his manager, his best friend, but he's also not like the greatest influence on up for him. But he's also the person that's trying to like push him through to the next level and keep pushing through his tour and all of this stuff. But Abel is kind of like, struggling internally with all the other stuff that's going on. Then we get to a different concert where essentially he loses his voice in the middle, doesn't know what to do, makes eye contact with the character of Anima, who's played by Jenna Ortega. They have this moment of like, do I know you? Do you know me? Have I seen you before? But then it's all like washed away when he's like, he can't talk, and he cuts the concert short, and then the movie transitions from there. Now, there's this whole like psychology theories and all of this. I don't know if it's true. I haven't got confirmation of this. The director, The Weeknd, Jenna has not officially said that this is what this is, but there's this theory that the character of The Weeknd, Anima, and Lee are all kind of like these personifications of The Weeknd, and they all have like this like triangle relationship, and it possibly could be. I took it for the literal. Now I do have a different theory of what I think is going on, because it's still like a thriller and there's still like extra stuff going on there to kind of like bend your mind a little bit. But I didn't take it as like a metaphor for anything. I took these characters literal. And a big part of that is because Anima has her own story. She's tied to other people. She's responsible to other people. She interacts either directly or indirectly with other people outside of Abel, right? And for me, the same thing goes for Lee. He interacts with other people. It's subtle and it's quick, but for me, like when you're writing characters, like if it's Fight Club, right? Like, the character, if he's interacting with a different character, like let me make this make sense. Like, let's say, who are the two characters in Fight Club? You had the narrator. Okay, the narrator doesn't have his own name, but then you had Tyler. Spoiler alert, if you've never seen Fight Club, it came out in 1999. If you haven't, go watch it, but whatever. We find out that Tyler Durden is in the mind of the narrator, right? Even though the narrator, we never get his name, we find out that every time like we seen Tyler, it was in the imagination of Ed Norton's character, the narrator. But in context of that, anytime you've seen Tyler interacting with other characters, then it was just assumed that the narrator was actually the person interacting with that character. So if Tyler punched somebody in the face and got punched, that wasn't Tyler, that was really the narrator. And there's scenes in there that shows you like, oh no, it was the narrator the whole time. So it's in context. And the reason why I say that is because I watched Hurry Up Tomorrow twice. I seen it in the movie theater, and then as soon as I came home, I rewatched probably most of it, or at least skipped through it, because I had thoughts on my mind, like, what did this mean, yada, yada, yada. So I went back through it, and I'm like, nah, like, these people are talking to people, they're interacting with people, they're doing stuff with people outside of Abel's character. So I, as a writer, the amateur writer that I am, I cannot solely just say, like, these are just figments of his imagination or his psychology. because they have their own breath and in life, and consequences for what they're doing. Now, with that being said, are there is it possible um, that some weird stuff is going on? Yes. However you interpret the movie, you will leave the movie with an interpretation, whether it's literal, fantasy, thriller, psychological, horror, whatever, musical, like whatever, you're gonna walk away with something. And I think whatever that is, that's genuine. And I think that's the epitome of what art is. It's an expression of art. Did The Weeknd take a chance by, putting himself as the main character? Absolutely. Because I think for like half the movie, I guess I never knew The Weeknd's real name. So when like people were calling him Abel, I didn't really realize that it was him. But then there's like posters or flyers. I'm like, wait, did that say The Weeknd on it? And then it's like, okay, yeah, that's what's going on. So the controversy is Abel can't act. Okay, maybe he can, maybe he can't. For me, I think the bigger issue with his acting for this movie was him crying all the time. Cause you like, yo, why are you crying? Like, just man up. Like, even Barry's character Lee was like, yo, man, we gotta get you out of this. Here, let me give you something to relax your mind, get you out of this. Um, More so than that one scene that everyone's watching him where he's telling the girl to shut the F up. I honestly, that was my favorite part of the movie. Not because of what he was saying it or who he was saying it to, but because that was the first time that his emotion actually came out. Because everything else was like this sullen crying, I miss my girlfriend, whatever, whatever. And then like, but the switch up was like, okay, I got what I needed out of this character and I'm trying to be nice about it. I don't want to be the a-hole, but you need to shut the F up so I can move on with my life. And then old girl was like, oh, you got the wrong one. Now, let's talk about Jenna. I think she carried the movie. She carried the movie. She played the hell out of her role. You're interested in her character as soon as you see her. Because she got some stuff going on. We don't know why. We don't know how. We don't know what's going on. I mean, we do get a little bit of explanation, but Abel then effed around and found out, and she put that man through the ringer. And even when she's like smiling and trying to make a point, and she's not like all the way there, she's gonna get her point across. Absolutely. So it was interesting. It was interesting to see, and actually, there's these moments in this movie where there's like a genuine like bond between Abel and Amina or Anima. And if you've ever watched the music video of Childish Gambino's 3005, that's like that's what you get out of it. That kind of like freedom of just being like living in the moment and stuff. I think it was really really interesting. I don't know if that was intentional, where The Weeknd got these kind of like ideas for scenes at, because I know he was writing the movie and writing his album at the same time, and then sending it to the director, and then his director would come up with ideas for scenes and stuff. So um, don't know if that had any type of influence on it, but that's what that kind of, those real scenes of like real people, that's what that reminded me of. And I thought the one thing I do like about this movie is that you do kind of get the stripped down version of beyond the persona. Like you're supposed to get the who that character is, who that person is when they're not on stage. when they're not just around their fans, when they're just not living in that cycle. Like, who are they really supposed to be? Do they even know anymore? And you get to explore that. And then, ish gets real, and deservedly so, and people get held accountable. So, is it a bit artsy fartsy? Sure. Is it something that like you have to go and see it in IMAX and must watch, first watch? No. But if you get a chance to watch it on Showtime or Netflix or Apple or something, if you are a fan of The Weeknd, if you're a fan of his music, if you're a fan of his creativity, I mean, because even if you watch some of his music videos, have always been out there and different and leaps forward. And I think this movie is going to be one of those things that people are going to appreciate later when, 10 years from now, when he's no longer putting out music. Because even some of his like real songs get addressed in this. And I think people are going to appreciate it later. And like I said, I think Jenna Ortega did a fantastic job acting in this, regardless of how you feel about Barry or feel about Abel. She's a real actress. She's worth supporting. So if not for him, do it for her. And I mean, I know she had that Death of a Unicorn movie that came out like in April that didn't do so well. I think she did way better with this. And it's kind of cool to kind of go on like a ride along with these characters a little bit in these moments that you have them, right? Like you're in the moment with these characters, and you're really like a fly on the wall. And I you know what? If anything, that's what I would call this movie. I would call it, instead of Hurry Up Tomorrow, I would call it Fly on the Wall, because I think that's what you are. Now, why do I think it's called Hurry Up Tomorrow? Do I have a concrete answer? No. But now this is my spoiler kind of theory, whatever. May hold up, may not. But the reason why I think it's called Hurry Up Tomorrow is because there's a bit of a Groundhog Day thing happening. And I think the reason why Abel and Anima feel so familiar to each other is not because they're all in Abel's head, because there's no evidence that he's seen her before in a concert. Like, she's not like a fangirl, like following him everywhere in every like there's no evidence of that. I mean, is evidence that she is a fangirl, but not like everywhere he is, she is. But they're, especially going back and like going through it again, the way that the movie starts with Abel in the mirror is basically how the movie ends with Abel in the mirror. So yeah, if you thought he died, like, he didn't die technically, but he also may not have died because he's in this Groundhog Day. And the way that we get introduced to Anima is based on like a rush. Like, there's like a crash, and then we just see her like in action, almost as if like she was doing something and then like came back to someplace else. So my interpretation is Hurry Up Tomorrow is it's Groundhog Day, and it's hurry up, like, not tomorrow, like hurry up tomorrow so we can break out of this cycle. Do I know now? And also, here's the tricky part, because there's a bit of traveling in this. So I wouldn't say it's like a Groundhog Day. I would say it's like a Groundhog, like 72 hours, maybe 48, 72 hours. But even still, like, I think that concept still applies. And what happens outside of that Ground Day or Groundhog weekend time frame can be anyone's interpretation. Is he cured? Is he not cured? Do they just start the cycle over again? Do they just run into each other? Do people live? Do people die? Um, and then do they just do it all again tomorrow? So, like I said, in totality, watch the movie. When, where, how? Maybe you'll watch it on a flight, on a long flight. You got 2 hours, and you'll cut it on because you kept hearing about it, but you were just concerned and you didn't want to pay for it, whatever. But I think if you are a fan, watch the movie. And if you're a fan of Jenna Ortega, watch the movie because she's a standout and she makes the movie. Okay. Now, any questions, comments, concerns about that? And I mean, what about like Weeknd as a artist? Is he somebody that you keep in your rotation? Were you someone that found him late? Were you someone that found him early? Did you not want anyone to know that you were listening to him because you thought he was an artist for girls? Right? Like I said, I got introduced with him because all the girls was like, "Have you heard this? Have you heard this?" So we had to listen to it. But I mean, I respected it. I respected him. Now I will say he didn't do a great Super Bowl performance a couple years ago. Neither did Rihanna. So it is what it is. But you know, I appreciate the Weekend for as long as we had him. And what do you think about his acting? I never seen The Idol. I had no real interest in watching The Idol. Have you seen it? Wasn't he a part of the Euphoria? Is it worth it? Is it worth skipping over all the controversy and just watching it anyway? You guys let me know. Found him early, and after his second album, he sent in directions that I wasn't a fan of. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think he did evolve kind of like more into like a pop artist. Like he went from like an underground kind of, singer to more of like a pop artist. Um, I mean, he had a hell of a career though, but I feel you. And like I said, I did just recently listen to a live concert, and it just brought back all the nostalgia. So, um, yeah, man, I appreciate him. All right, all right. Let me go get a drink of water. I'll be right back, and we'll talk about Karate Kid. Uh, Raja, what do you think? You think I should talk about Mission Impossible, like straight up, or do you think I should just do a reaction to the Ringerverse, Midnight Boys, and just react to what they had to say? Because it looked like they just talked about the Final Reckoning. So let me know what you think. Should I just talk about the movie in general, or should I just do like a reaction to their pod? And then we got to talk about Mobland. I'll be right back. So apparently there's a way you can like build commercial breaks into this stream that I haven't figured out how to do it. All right. Sorry. Like I said, I'm a little sick, so. Raj, I think that was a good idea. I'll do that last. I'll talk about Mobland, and then we'll talk about Mission Impossible, just so we can do the Midnight Boys reaction. Let's see where we're at. All right. So let's see. There's, for those that have been watching The Karate Kid since like the 80s, y'all know what's up. 1984. All right. That was before I was born. So if you were alive back then, you old as hell. Nah, just playing. But yeah, starring Daniel LaRusso. All right. And then, there was a Karate Kid 2, Karate Kid 3. Then they tried to come back with the film series out in 2010 with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Jaden was really small. He was just kind of starting to get into his acting. And then that didn't really go anywhere. Then let's see. They came out with Cobra Kai on Netflix. They just ended. This was their, sixth season. Season 1 came out 2018, it looks like. Yep. So 6 seasons. They just finished like right at the new year. Cobra Kai is the TV show basically based off the original Karate Kid. And really the way they tied it in is Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. Also, there's a Karate Kid with Hilary Swank that I'd never seen, and it seemed like most people never seen it. 1994. Yeah. Now, that one is the last one to have is it Morita? Pat Morita, who played Mr. Miyagi. I think that's the last one that he was in. But even with the Cobra Kai TV show and all the movies and remakes and everything, they still have not acknowledged the Hilary Swank contribution to the franchise, like at all. So not even in Legends are we talking about Hilary Swank's character, which looks like her name was Julie Pierce. First two Karate Kid movies are Hallmark movies of my childhood. Yes, I'm old. My daughter is going to be able to vote soon, so it tracks. Very true. Very true. Yeah. So, like, for those of y'all that have been kind of like living with Karate Kid for these past decades, man, like, it's one of those franchises. But like I said, they tried to bring it back in like what I say 2010 with Jaden Smith. Yeah, and it never took off. Now, the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi is Japanese. Wax on, wax off, wax on. Karate Kid with Jackie Chan is Chinese. So this movie, Karate Kid Legends, shows that they are branches, wax on, wax off, of the same tree. And I guess the lore has been there forever. But essentially, one of Mr. Miyagi's descendants got drunk on sake, floated all the way from Japan to China, learned the ways of Kung Fu from the Han family, married a Chinese girl, brought her back to Japan, and down the line had Mr. Miyagi. Mr. Han, who's Jackie Chan's character, is the descendant of that original Chinese family. So that's how they connected, and they even basically talk about like Mr. Miyagi and Mr. Han knowing each other. So it's thrown in there. It's definitely thrown in there. You're just like, okay, all right. But I digress. So Cobra Kai came out and it picked up. It did like a 180 on the whole mythology of Karate Kid, and was like, yo, maybe Daniel LaRusso's character was the bad guy. Maybe Misty Miyagi's character was the bad guy. Maybe Johnny Lawrence and the Cobra Kai people, maybe they were the good guys. And then they, brought in the character of Johnny Lawrence. And then you got 6 seasons of basically like Johnny and Daniel trying to work together for the sake of their kids, essentially. Great show. One of Netflix's best shows, hands down. Every time they were coming out with a new season, super excited. I mean, like they just went for the fences. Like some of the fight scenes and choreography and brawls and just concepts that they came with Cobra Kai is just amazing. And then after they announced that this was going to be the final season of Cobra Kai, they announced that this was this Karate Kid Legacy was going to be maybe like a bookend to it. So like everyone was excited. All right, tie everything together, tie the whole Jackie Chan's remake franchise together, and just leave it on a good note. And for those wondering, this really doesn't have anything to do with Cobra Kai. They make little subtle hints about Cobra Kai, and essentially this takes place after Cobra Kai is finished. So after like the Saikai Taikai in Barcelona, and didn't they bring it back to the Valley and all of that stuff. Um, this movie takes place after that, but it's not. There's no like none of the kids from Cobra Kai show up in the movie. Just to be clear. So like if you thought like, the new kid was gonna run into Danny's daughter or anybody, like no, that doesn't happen. And going into it, I will say that the way that they marketed this movie, like you thought Daniel LaRusso was gonna be in the whole movie, like from the beginning, and he's not. Jackie Chan is definitely in the movie more, but he's also like, this is also more of like his side of the franchise more than Daniel's. But when Daniel comes in, like it's great to kind of see Jackie Chan's kind of on-screen presence with Daniel LaRusso's character. I mean, with Ralph Macchio, with them two acting together, definitely great. Like that should have been the movie. Unfortunately, that wasn't majority of the movie. That's not even like a lot of the movie. Ming Na Wen is in that. Um, her character, like she's the mom that's kind of like she doesn't want her son fighting, so they move from China to New York, start fresh, all of that stuff. Same kind of beats as Karate Kid. Um, and then just like the other movie, it's like, oh, my son can actually do this, yada yada yada. This other dude, Aramis Knight, who was actually in Miss Marvel. He was like that Shadow Ninja dude, but he was also in the Badlands TV show. So he's kind of like the Johnny Lawrence of the movie, like slick hair, tough guy. Everyone's afraid of him, you know. And then he got like the people he like is his master is like or his sensei is kind of like a loan shark. And then that's where Joshua Jackson's character comes in, because Joshua Jackson's character's name is Victor, who's like a former boxer who owes them money and this and that. And then you got Mia, who's his daughter, and then you got Li Fong, played by the new actor Ben Wang, who is basically descendant of Mr. Han. Um, there is a break in the movie where they focus on Li Fong's character and his relationship with Mia, his relationship with Victor, trying to start over like in America, dealing with his mom that doesn't want him to fight, but trouble seems to find him, because he's caught up with the girl. Same beats as the Karate Kid. It is a little fresh, but I think there is a bit lacking, and I think it was almost unnecessary. Well, the movie is unnecessary. I don't think this doesn't do anything to the legacy. Like, so much so, like it almost should have been like a Rocky type thing where he like loses, and then they have to get like Daniel LaRusso's help for like the revenge or something. That doesn't happen. But it almost seems like they just tried to fit too much in there. Again, like the chemistry between Li Fong's character, the Li Fong character, and the Mia character, the Victor character, that's all good. The chemistry between Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso, that's all good. I think the Connor Day character, who was the villain or the bad guy, he's just a face and muscle, right? Ming Na Wen's character, she's just a mom. It's really kind of, you feel the difference coming from Cobra Kai, who now have like literally like infused every possible character and angle and storyline from the original trilogies, and brought back so many characters and friends and affiliates and dude that clean toilets, and now like there's just such a rich history that like when these like characters come through and they're like, do you remember him? He was the guy that picked so and so up off the floor and wiped his forehead. And you're like, wow, they got that guy 40 years later. You know what I mean? Like you just get so much out of the Cobra Kai show that this also being called Legacy is just like, I don't think you're really getting the Miyagi side of things. Like I think we're getting the Miyagi side of things in Cobra Kai enough. And where this movie goes, will they probably make a sequel? Possibly. Is this better than the Jaden Smith version? Yeah. But do I think they need to like beat this with a dead horse and make this into a 10 movie franchise? Absolutely not. Do I think Ben Wang as an actor was phenomenal? Yeah. I mean, he surprised the hell out of me as a person that I don't know. I never heard of. I mean, his fighting was legit. I think they tried to add some kind of style, like New York flavor into it. But I never got the feeling that this was like New York. Like the whole tournament is called like the Five Boroughs tournament. Like I never got that feeling. So much so it was like just like random locations in random boroughs, but like there was no like overall feeling like this is like the thing, like how they like overemphasize it like in the valley in the original Karate Kid and in Cobra Kai, like the valley, the valley, the valley, like this is the only thing like they have to offer. You don't get that. And like you don't get like this like Rucker Park feeling like the best of the park or any, like it's just like if this kid was like the best in the five boroughs, you wouldn't know. Like you wouldn't know. Like there's no reason to know. It's not like he gets like endorsement deals or nothing. Which is another thing, which is weird because like that was like a point that they made at the end of Cobra Kai. But like certain characters getting like endorsement deals and movie opportunities and all of this stuff, whereas like this five boroughs thing like doesn't matter. Regardless if they're in like high school or not. Like it just like it like looks like you win these tournaments and then like where does your life go after this? And like I said, I think Cobra Kai is just more fleshed out of a show and of the franchise, of the legacy, that I'm not getting anything from these young actors. Raj said, fun fact, Mr. Miyagi, played by Pat Moriarty, was Japanese American and acted out the Japanese accent as he spoke perfect English. You're right. I did hear that. And what was the dude that played the uncle in the Jamie Foxx show? Because I think they were like comedians and like best friends. Garrett Morris. Yeah, so Garrett Morris and Pat Moriarty are like best friends. And they were like comics that came up together. Yeah, they were both stand-up comedians. I don't know where I got that story from, but yeah, he was definitely more American and definitely like made up that accent, which is crazy to think because as a kid, like that's the only person I knew him as. Like I don't even know if I've seen Pat play in any other movie. And if he was speaking English, it would have been crazy to me. Happy Days, Mulan, Sanford and Son, Bloodsport, Inferno. Yeah. A lot of karate stuff. Karate Dog. Yeah. Mad karate stuff. Like all the Mulans, Miracle Beach. Yeah. But anyway, um so I say all of that to say that was Karate Kid Legends Legends, was it a good watch? Yeah, it was fun. I had the opportunity to go see it again in the movie theater, and instead I went to go see Hurry Up Tomorrow. So if that's any indication of where I felt after I seen it the first time, there you go. Now, if you're trying to introduce your nephew, your grandson, your kid, kind of like to that um, world, sure. Especially kind of like on the like more softer side of Miyagi, though. Yes, because like if your younger person is like a teenager or a preteen, then yeah, you can introduce them to Cobra Kai. But if they're like young, 6, 7, 8, sure, you can bring them to see that, or you can wait for it to be out on one of these streaming platforms. I don't think it's one of those where you got to rush out the door and get the headband and be out there. Like it's not. You don't get that. Jaden Smith is not in the movie. Taraji P isn't in the movie. Which I thought they easily could have plugged them in, even at the end as a cameo or something. I came into the pizza shop and got a slice of pizza. So I don't know. It felt like it was slapped together. It feels like Jackie Chan is trying to move on from being like the main karate dude to being like the sensei, right? He's slowing down. He's getting older. So, drunken master style. Um, But yeah, I think overall, Karate Kid 1 is my favorite. I did actually see Karate Kid 2 and 3 over the last like couple years. Um, and I was watching it because of Cobra Kai. So I am like pretty familiar. Also, like going back because when they started bringing back like older characters and stuff um, in the Cobra Kai show, like I felt like it was important for me to like understand who these people were, like Terry and all of that stuff. Um, so I don't know if I need to like rank it, but for me, Karate Kid 1 and Cobra Kai, like I'm good. I'm good off that. Karate Kid 2, well, like I guess Karate Kid 2 is when they went to Japan, right? So I guess Karate Kid 2 is important. That's right. Because Karate Kid 3 is when they were kind of like just stuck on that one set and had like all of them come like attack him like at the store or whatever they were working at. So yeah, Karate Kid 1 and Karate Kid 2, like Raj said. Because Karate Kid 2 is when they went to Japan. And that was important. And that's when they did the whole right with the drum thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah. Because he fought old boy Chosen, and then they brought Chosen back for Cobra Kai. Yeah. So yeah. And then Chosen was about to kill old girl that he was in love with. Yeah. So Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2, and Cobra Kai. That's it. You don't need nothing more. You don't need nothing less. If you go see Legends, cool. But I mean, don't feel like you need to turn around and also go back and watch the one with Jaden Smith. I watched like the clips on YouTube. They were like 2-3 minute clips. It was like 10 of them, and I got the whole movie all over again. Didn't need to go rewatch the whole movie. So, Karate Kid 1, Karate Kid 2, and Cobra Kai. Maybe Karate Kid 3 in there if you're gonna watch all of Cobra Kai, you could throw 3 in there just for the hell of it. Okay. Raj said Karate Kid 2 and Okinawa. Okinawa is my favorite. Yeah, it makes sense. You would remember that. Being Okinawa was represented was extremely important. Yeah, you're right. And it brought like a bigger layer to Mr. Miyagi's character and basically what he was hiding from. Absolutely. Great acting, writing, and love interest had me. Yeah, she was fine as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Which fun fact, again, if you watch Cobra Kai, they bring her in there. So I think they did really well in Cobra Kai, and I felt like Legends was unnecessary. And if you thought like you were gonna get like a cherry on top, it's not. It's not. It's like a melted sundae. Maybe a warm milkshake. That's it. But yeah, okay. So y'all let me know in the comments what's your favorite, and I'll put it. Which is your favorite Karate Kid movie and or show? Apparently, there was also like a Karate Kid cartoon, the way they were just Daniel and Mr. Miyagi were just going around like doing different karate stuff. I don't know. Raj, maybe you know that. Um, I just learned about that today. On Prime Video. It's crazy. And the crazy thing is, so you got that, but then you also got the what was the Jackie Chan cartoon? Jackie Chan Adventures. Yeah, I remember that show. It's a pretty good show too. Y'all let me know. And do y'all have a preference over Jackie Chan versus Mr. Miyagi? I don't think it's crazy because it's been so long since we had a good Jackie Chan movie. Watching him in this, even though he did his own like little stunt section in there real quick, I think that was fun to see, and we definitely miss Jackie Chan. I don't think there's ever going to be like a great actor fighter as good as him. Like Jet Li was cool, but Jet Li wasn't like doing his own like stunts the way Jackie was. So if anything, like ode to Jackie, and thank you for his legacy and everything he gave, Mr. Miyagi, and it ain't even close. Yeah, but yeah, and I mean, even this makes you kind of want to go back out and watch Rush Hour. Like Jackie Chan just got so many like hits and classics, bro. Like you can't go wrong. So shout out to Jackie, man, and him and Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio. We appreciate them for everything that they given us. And like, if this is the last time we seen them, I'm cool with it. I don't really need any more. Oh, that I was gonna say. Um, if you guys didn't know, like if y'all been like keeping up with Sinners, um, Sinners had just did like a release. They did like a special premiere out in Mississippi. I thought I had this screenshot with the information on it. Um, okay, so there may be a Sinners 2 in early development. I don't know. Don't know anything. But if you hear about it, you heard about it here first. I'm not positive, but it's possible. Don't quote me on that. Um, but more importantly, the other day in Clarksdale, Mississippi, that's where Sinners was filmed, and they had like a special screening out there. There's no movie theater in Clarksdale, so they went and basically like built one up. Ryan Coogler was there, Ludwig Gorison, and Miles Canton were all in attendance and held a QA. Um, I didn't get a chance to put the pick up, but yeah, I mean I think they did it in like a auditorium in one of the schools, and I thought that was really dope for those people since they filmed it out there. They didn't have like a theater, um, so I did want to share that. Um, I mean, that's just much love and respect. Like, regardless if Sinners comes out with a part two or not, the fact that they had like an extra like releases in IMAX and all of that, and then turned around and did that for those people out there in the city was really dope. Raj said, "Shout out to Sinners for making over 300 million at the box office." Yeah, that's crazy. Its own like original idea and storyline, production, all of that is dope. Clarksdale, Mississippi. Ryan got asked why the movie wasn't made in Clarksdale, and it was important. Oh, but I don't. Do you know why? Do you have an answer to that? Why it was made out there? I don't really know anything about that. Um, but if you like to share, definitely let us know. Tax credits and infrastructure issues. All right. Well, I mean, I'll try to look into it a little bit more. Like, I'm sure we're going to be talking about Sinners all summer, especially as other stuff comes out, and where they kind of like rank it. Like, I think the last thing I saw, Thunderbolts was doing better, but obviously, like, all of these things are like established franchises, so it's almost expected. But what I was gonna say is for Karate Kid Legends, I think I had it rated as a B plus after I seen it. Hurry Up Tomorrow was probably like a low B. Like, still not like the worst thing you could watch. Um, we already talked about Thunderbolts. Um, Lilo and Stitch, I thought was I actually like the live animation better than the cartoons, in my opinion. So I rated that a B plus. And then I forgot I was gonna briefly talk about Final Destinations because I don't think I ever uploaded my review of it. I uploaded my spoiler review. So if you guys had not, if you don't want spoilers on that, it's still up there in like the clips. Wait, so you're saying it wasn't made in Clarksdale and instead it was made in Louisiana? But then what was the significance of Clarksdale? Is that where it's based at? Like, is that where the movie is based? Oh, I didn't know that. Hmm. Good to know. All right, so the movie was set in Clarksdale. Okay, yeah, okay, makes sense. I wonder, like, I would love to find like an interview. I would love to find like an interview of the residents of Clarksdale, like talking about it. Maybe there's like a video on YouTube where they did like a premiere while they were out there. Maybe they had like they asked people questions and stuff. I'll do some poking around and see if I could find that. That'd be really cool to hear what they would have to say. Um, like I said, I'm gonna talk about Final Destination's Bloodline real quick. Um, no need to like go through the whole thing. Like I said, I have a non spoiler review up there already. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. Um, I'll just basically talk about how this is connected to the other movies and where it leaves the franchise. We will talk about Mobland, and then I will watch the Midnight Boys from the Ringerverse talk about Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, and that's like an hour and a half itself. So if y'all don't want to stick around for that, I feel y'all. If y'all got work and stuff, y'all got to get ready for. Y'all could follow up me tomorrow and finish the stream. We are running on an hour and 47, which doesn't even seem like it's been that long, but I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I'm gonna get another swig of water. If y'all need a quick bathroom break, wash your hands, you know, brush your teeth, something. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Yo, Raj, what was the what were the three shows that you were looking forward to coming out in in June again? Can you type it in the chat? Shout out to everyone that joined us in the stream, whether you're still here or we're just getting here. We appreciate y'all. I know it's a late on a Sunday, but appreciate y'all rocking with us. Yo, and if y'all haven't noticed, your boy's numbers is running up a little bit. Got a couple over 1,000 in my shorts. Pause. This one got 708. I got a few up there. Your boy growing slowly but surely. We over 50. Got 53. I'm trying to get myself to be able to stream live from my my cell phone, but YouTube is playing around, bro. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. My bad. There was a reason why I was doing that. Hold up. Trying to show you that you can find my short clips here. These are like the breakdowns from the lives. Obviously, the lives are in the live tab, but also I got some videos up here. So, like, I got a non-spoiler review of Bloodlines that we about to talk about. Yeah, appreciate that. I am trying to run up the clip numbers. I'm growing a little bit. The major goal is to be able to stream from my cell phone so that I can not have to be reliant about being in the studio. Oh, also, don't forget my post page. Yeah, I see it went black. Last but not least, what I was gonna say, I was gonna show you. I got a post up here, so I'll be trying to keep y'all posted. I put up stuff y'all can vote on, surveys and stuff. You know, like 3 weeks ago, I did my review of my little written review of Legends. So I know y'all be liking to see my face and hear my voice, but I be trying to put stuff on the post up there for y'all to make it easy too. I'm gonna just stop sharing because that keep making my screen go black. But anyway, sorry about that. Don't know why that kept blacking out the screen. But anyway, um, Final Destination's Bloodlines. Just a couple points I wanted to make. Like I said, if y'all want like more detail, go watch non-spoiler review. But what I wanted to kind of add was, first of all, rest in peace, Tony Todd. There was kind of controversy of whether he was death throughout like all of the Final Destination franchises, and Bloodlines adds to his lore. So he is in fact not death, but he is as involved in the deaths as any of the other characters have ever been. And y'all know that, or may have not known that he died in real life. So this was his last Final Destination movie. But I think his cameo in here was super dope and super relevant. And that also ties into the whole fact of like he's kind of being one of the threads for like the whole franchise. But this one also kind of threads between all the movies and gives like a reason to like why all of these have been happening. There's no like physical persona of like, well, okay, let me not say that. We may have seen who Death is. Not to say that Death has been one person this whole time, but we may have seen Death in Bloodlines. But I think it brings the franchise full circle. So what I mean by that is if they never make a Final Destination movie again, I think where they ended it is perfectly fine. Will they do that? Probably not, because people like making money. But the way that they ended this one, like, there's no loose ends. There was definitely a couple of twists up in there for certain characters. Why they didn't die or why certain characters died in a certain order. And I thought it was like a fresh kind of like surprise of how they told these stories, but no loose ends. So if you're like, hey, I'm gonna just wait for the next one to come out and binge watch it before the new one, they may or may not have a new one. I think it was worth it to watch. Never been a horror person. Have always been a Final Destination person, as paranoid as everyone else living my real life. But for it to be kind of like a horror flick in the middle of the summer or in the beginning of the summer, I don't think it was bad. I think it was a good reason to get out the house if you needed something to go watch and you were unsure what you wanted to watch. I thought it was pretty dope. The girl in here. So one of the girls is from, what is the name of that CW show? Breck Bassinger. She's from Stargirl. Then the other girl, Caitlin Santawana, I think she's in Romulus. Maybe. Nah. Nah, she's a new actress. I was getting her confused with this other girl. But Richard Harmon, he was in the 100. And he's the same kind of uh, a-hole character that he is in the 100. He is in this, but he does bring levity to the movie, and he makes it more enjoyable to watch. I don't think you're going to. I mean, you're not going to get any Oscar nominations out of these actors and actresses, but I mean, there are definitely some fun moments in this, and definitely some cool kill counts. So if you're one of those people that count kill counts and stuff, and I thought it was pretty dope. I thought it was pretty fresh, and like I said, so Bloodlines takes place like in the '60s, and then it brings it full circle up until present day, and it kind of ties all of it. It threads kind of all the movies together loosely, not like, oh, one movie happened because of the other, but there are kind of like little threads of how they're stitched together, and they shown that like people are noticing that like all of these crazy deaths are happening to certain people. Um, and I mean, you got people smart about it, more smart about it than others, and people that are on the death hit list that have been able to escape death for a long time. So, but then keep in mind that just because you have a baby doesn't mean that you're safe, which has been like lore from another movie. I think Final Destination 2. But no, that doesn't save you. It just puts your bloodline in jeopardy. So if you are a Final Destination person, like I said, it's definitely a fun watch. Again, if you wait for it to come out um, for the summer to watch it during the 4th of July or something while people barbecuing outside or whatever, or a Friday night, no worries. But it was fun. It was a fun movie, and it mixed up the monotony of the summer blockbusters that we about to roll into for May, June, July, and August. And that was it. And if you have you seen Bloodlines? Have you not seen Bloodlines? What's your favorite installment of Final Destination movies? Do you have certain characters that stick out more than others? Do you have any deaths that stick out more than others? My two biggest kills was obviously the log falling off the back of the truck and going through the driver. I mean, I don't think I've ever successfully driven behind a tractor trailer with stuff on the back for more than 5 miles without being like, all right, let me save myself. And then I forgot which one. It's either at the end of 2 or 3, I think maybe. Like when the dude went to go, um, he was on the grill, and then what was it? His head blew up and shot up and landed on the table where the rest of the family was at, and that was at the end of the movie. I know some people like the one where the dude falls under the ladder well, and the thing stops, and then it goes through his eye anyway. I mean, they got some crazy ones, um, and that might be something to do, you know, around Halloween. Rank all the best Final Destination kills. But like I said, I mean, there was even one in here that caught me off guard. Well, there was one in here that was like, this is this and this is gonna happen, this and this is gonna happen, and it's like, obviously that's not gonna happen. But surprise, right? And then you got one like a super unexpected one. So I thought Bloodlines brought like um, a fresh take, um, pushed the lore further, and it was a fun watch. If anything else, I'd probably rate it like a B. But I mean, you shouldn't go in here with like high expectations anyway. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, let me know which installment is your favorite. All right, so now we're gonna get to the good stuff. Like I said, the only other movie I'm gonna talk about is Mission Impossible. I'll talk about that last. I almost watched The Last Rodeo. I watched about like 10 minutes of the movie and then got out of that theater. So if you thought that if you were waiting for me to review The Last Rodeo, I'm not. It's not my movie. If you are interested in that, good luck. Also, The Accountant 2, I never finished it. I watched the first one, then rolled right into the second one. Wasn't for me. So, again, if you're waiting on that, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about Mobland. I'm going to take a page out of my friend's book and talk about and go to the wiki. Yeah, I be messing up names, bro. Also, I suggest that you watch it with subtitles on. Like, let me just be clear about that. Because they got like Irish accents and it's crazy. So please watch it with the CC on it, closed captions on it, because I wouldn't be able to without it. All right, hold on. One moment, though. All right. Let's see what we got. 2 hours and 16 minutes. Yeah, subtitles are a must. All right, so this is what I decided. I am going to talk about Mobland up until episode 9, essentially. And then I'm going to save the season finale and do a live on Wednesday. And then after talking about Mobland season finale, then I will do the reaction to Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Ringerverse reaction, because I want to watch the other Mission Impossibles over again before I review it. Because I know they definitely probably are going to bring up stuff from like 1, 2, and 3 that I'm not going to remember. So it'll give me a couple days to catch up. So that's the plan. So we're going to talk about Mobland up until, what is it called? The penultimate episode. We'll save the season finale for Wednesday, and we'll save the Mission Impossible Final Reckoning review for Wednesday. All right, hold on. Oh, we had 25. Nope. I'm lying. My bad. This live. Okay, saying for watching. All right. All right. Yeah. So that way I could be more informed going forward. So, if there's any extra tidbits or something I can add, I will do that for y'all. Because I know y'all got questions. Trying to just see if I've been keeping up. Notes on this. I don't think so. And Raj, are you the one that put me on the Mobland? Are you like, did you tell me to watch it, or did I say I was gonna watch it, or did I tell you to watch it first and let me know if you liked it or not? But all right, let's talk about it. All right, so obviously this is a British crime drama. Created by Ronan Bennett. Not sure who that is. It stars Tom Hardy as Harry D'Souza, who is a fixer for the Harrigan crime family, led by Conrad, played by Pierce Bronson, and Maeve Harrigan, who is Helen Mirren. Paddy Considine also stars as Kevin Harrigan, the son of Conrad and Maeve, and Harry's longtime working partner. So to put that in context, Kevin and Harry were in jail together, and they looked out for each other while they were in jail. And then Kevin was like, "Yo, do you know who my dad is?" Harry was like, "Nah." And then he was like, "Yes, you do." And then after they got out of jail, Kevin brought Harry in to like help out the family, and Harry has been like the main fixer for the family. So he's like at the top of the food chain. He don't really have any like leashes except through Conrad, and he does everything that Conrad says. But also, Conrad is a piece of trash and has no loyalty to anybody, which probably makes working for Conrad a lot harder. Yeah, I think you mentioned it, and I had it on my radar. Yeah, and I agree. Pierce Brosnan is acting his ass off. Now, the reason why I was gonna tie in Mission Impossible with this is because obviously Pierce Brosnan had played 007, right? And a few of the in a few what is this dude's name? James Bond movies in the 90s, right? Um, and then Mission Impossible, Ethan Hunt is our only really equivalent to who 007 is, as like an American kind of like spy, kind of like um, like wild horse that can kind of like just do what he wants to do. But in Mobland, like Pierce Brosnan is playing like you almost don't know what you're getting into when you start the show. So, like I said, Kevin and Harry are best friends. Harry is the fixer, but he's not on a leash. Everyone is on a leash under Conrad, and Conrad is not the type of person to put like a thumb on you. He's the type of person that's gonna put his foot on your neck and doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care about his kids. He doesn't care about his wife. He doesn't care about his bastard kids or a legitimate kid. I don't know if he cares about his business. He definitely doesn't care about his best friend. He doesn't care about his mistresses. I don't know what he cares about except for power. And like I said, you are supposed to be one of the top crime families in London, but it makes it harder for you to stay on top when no one trusts you and you don't trust anyone around you. Pierce Brosnan in the Thomas Crown Affair is Chef's Kiss. I don't know if I've ever seen Thomas Crown Affair. I've heard of it. I don't remember what it's about. Um, 1999, Thomas Crown Affair, romantic heist film. Okay, yeah, I don't remember it. I mean, I feel like if I watched it, how many times I've watched the Oceans 11 and 12 and 13, I probably would have remembered it. So no, but I'll definitely try to throw it on the radar before Wednesday. Appreciate the recommendation. Now, on top of that, Maeve, I don't know if Maeve is Conrad's wife. I don't know if she's better or worse than Conrad or just equally as bad. And like I said, like at this point the knives are out, so there's a lot going on, right? So it says the premise: the Harrigans, London crime family, find themselves in a battle with the Stevensons that could end syndicates and their lives, and that's facts. And I think they're willing to do all of the above. Harry D'Souza is a street smart and formidable fixer employed by the Harrigan family to navigate and mitigate the escalating conflict threatening their empire. Not really their empire, Conrad's empire. As tensions between the families intensify, Harry is tasked with protecting the Harrigan's interests and preventing an all-out gang war. And I mean, I think Harry's doing it to the best of his ability, but I think people are at the point where they don't care anymore. and I think like you can only save as much as you can in a burning building, and I think that's where we are right now. So the other thing is Conrad has a couple different kind of kid situations going on, right? So he has Kevin, but Kevin's not the oldest son. Um, let's see. Daniel is the oldest son, but Daniel's like a F up, right? So he never gets anything right. He always drops the ball. He makes everything worse. So he's like out of the loop. So he's trying to like circumvent and do stuff to try to like get back in his dad's good graces. Whereas Kevin is kind of like the son, but Conrad doesn't seem to trust Kevin that much either. And then like once Kevin starts getting sidetracked, like he got his own kind of he does what his dad tells him to do. Like his life is basically designed according to how Conrad designed it, but he has no like autonomy at all in his life. And then Kevin has a son, Eddie. And Eddie is a puppet. And I mean, is he, Raj? Would you say Eddie is better or worse than old boy from Game of Thrones? Godfrey, Joffrey, is it Joffrey? Is Eddie good? Is he good or as bad as Joffrey, or is Joffrey like his own person that does his own misdeeds, whereas Eddie is like a person to like take orders? Um, and then, but then that's a whole thing because now we're not even sure who Eddie's real parents are. There's a lot going on, and then you got Serafina, who is Conrad's like illegitimate daughter, who Maeve hates with all her guts. Uh, then you got Bella, is Kevin's wife, supposedly Eddie's mom. You got Jan, who is Harry's wife, and they have a daughter named Gina. And then you got the Stevenson family. The Richie Stevenson is the leader of the up and coming South London Stevenson gang, and Ron's husband and Tommy's father. And I'm not gonna lie, they got a bit of Game of Thrones stuff going on. So just be mindful of who you get attached to, for sure. Because like I said, I don't think anyone is safe. I hope except for Harry, but then Harry kind of got his own secrets, so we're not 100% like what he got going on. There's a lot going on, and then you got people dealing with people from their past, and like there's some heavy stuff going on. Yeah, Eddie is not as bad as Joffrey. Eddie is playing a gangster. Godfrey or Joffrey was mad in the head. Yeah, absolutely a mad king, for sure. Don't gloss over Bella's relationship with Conrad. All right. I mean, we're here now. So if I'm gonna go into some spoilers for through episode 9. So spoiler warning here. All right. Bella. So yeah, the writing is top notch. Okay, so Kevin is married to Bella, but Bella is Conrad's concubine, essentially. So the reason why we don't know who Eddie's dad is because we don't know if it's Kevin or if it's Conrad's. And the way Maeve is acting, either Maeve is in love with Eddie or that's Conrad's son. Which is kind of weird because it's just like she doesn't like Serafina, who is like the bastard child essentially of Conrad. But it's like she can tolerate Bella and Eddie. So like it's a weird dynamic, but then like realistically, Maeve doesn't tolerate anybody, and it don't even seem like she's tolerating Conrad at this point. Yeah, Joffrey. Yeah, okay, Joffrey. Is it me or does Eddie and Joffrey like look alike? But anyway. Sorry, I'm trying to look up Eddie. Yeah, it's definitely not the same person. But they do. They look alike though. Jack Gleason. They look alike. Oh, you gonna say because she it so would you say that Serafina is Indian? Because I mean, would you say she's like British Indian, not black, right? You would say that Serafina's Indian. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible that she don't like her because she's colored, for sure. But I don't know. I really feel like we need, and because we only got one more episode left, I don't think we have time for it. But I feel like we need a flashback episode of Maeve and Conrad to fully understand and appreciate this dynamic. Um, because I don't know if Maeve has been like wrong in the head from the beginning, or like if over time she just like lost it or stopped caring, or what. Um, Maybe all the infidelity. I don't know. Um, but she's definitely seeming to try to prove a point now. Um, the question is why, and I'm hoping that those are the I hope we get the whys answered in this season finale. And then, like I said, when it comes to these different characters, Vron and all of it, like just be careful who you get attached to, right? Then you got like the Mexicans in there, you got the fentanyl going in there, like there's a lot of like movement parts and different operations and stuff. Like it's not as fleshed out as Power, where I think like in Power you kind of like understood like what they were doing on the street level, whereas this they're kind of like at the top. And I think that's the only thing that I don't appreciate. Like it just seems like these gangs are just so like small that we don't feel the grander scale. Like anytime someone has to come to the table, it's like the big people coming to the table. Whereas like in other shows, um, Power and The Wire and stuff like that, like you understand kind of like the hierarchy, um, and like the street level of stuff. Not to say that this lacks in any way. Hell, even Breaking Bad. But I think when it comes to like these gangster show, I mean, hell, even Sopranos. Like I think there's an importance of understanding these hierarchies, and I think like that the talent and the acting is so good and so top notch that there's not really room for the rest of that stuff. And I think like I just need like a broader understanding of that. Like I want to understand like where, Conrad came up. Did he come up through the trenches? Did he just, come off the Irish boat with his own stuff? I mean, I know there's like little hints of stuff, but it's just like, you know, especially when you try to compare it to like mafia and stuff that we're familiar with on like the American side, trying to get kind of like a parallel of, do they have crime families, and are there godfathers, and like is there supposed to be meetings of respect, and and blending of families, and you stay on that side and I stay on that side, but really I'm gonna come to your side, and you know what I mean? Like there's just these little intricate details that I'm missing. And again, not to take away from like the acting or anything, but um I definitely need more. But excuse me, 10 episodes in the first season. There's a lot going on, um, a lot of twists and turns, a lot of unexpected, like you don't know who's dealing with who, and people trying to crack down, and you know who's associated and affiliated. And I mean, it's a hell of a show. It's a hell of a show, and I'm looking forward to more. Raj said Maeve also hates Seraphina's confidence and the ability to get things done. She is also Conrad's favorite child. No, 100%. And he probably trusts Seraphina more than he trusts Maeve. And that's just facts. There are so many good actors in Mobland. There's plenty of time seasons for backstories and flashbacks. Power, in my opinion, had weaker actors overall and needed to go to backstory and flashbacks earlier. Um, I mean, what I appreciate about Power is it was about a man who got to where he got to by coming up through drugs, but also by having this like moniker that everyone knew to fear, but didn't know who that person was. And then when he wanted to go straight and narrow for his family was the one that wanted him to keep doing the bad stuff that he was doing. And it was outside influences that he was trying to end up going on the straight and narrow for. But he had to pay for it, right? And the thing that I appreciate about Power is that people paid the price, right? It wasn't like got away, Batman, try me next week. Nah, people paid prices, like for real, for real. Um, I mean, kids got killed. Like, I mean, heads got chopped off. Like, a lot of stuff happened. You know what I mean? Then you had the whole dynamic of like a son and a father that you don't really see, and he's like trying to keep his kid from having to live that life. But because of the mom is like pushing the kid to do the bad stuff because she feel like she don't have control over the dad no more. So then she gets her son caught up. kind of like how Maeve is. Like, she wants Conrad to keep doing this bad stuff. Like, if Conrad was like, yo, we out, Maeve isn't going for it. And if it is, Tyreek listens and does what his mom says, whereas Kevin and, everybody else doesn't. Now maybe Eddie, right? It's kind of like Eddie. Like, if Maeve was like, yo, you got to kill your grandfather, I'm sure Eddie would kill Conrad. And that's kind of that dynamic with Tyreek in power with his dad. So, I mean, again, it's not for everybody, but there's a lot of like intricate dynamics with people doing why they're doing what they're doing, and trying to make different life choices, but can't because certain people are trying to keep them locked in that lifestyle because they're comfortable. I respect Power, but I saw where the show was going after episode 4, and I zoned out and stopped watching. To each their own. Yeah. Maeve is a textbook user. She knows she can use Eddie because he is weak-minded, impulsive, but weak. But yes, but don't forget, like, Eddie just, flipped on her. So, yes, he may be a pawn, but he is also a pawn that can be used by either side, right? And that's the difference. So, but then that's also what makes him weak when he's around Harry. You know what I mean? Like, he got all this airy cockiness, but if Harry punches him in his chest, that birdie's in the cage. He flips because of Conrad's power. Not No, I know exactly, but that's what I'm saying. But he's a pawn that could be used by either side. He has no loyalty. But what I'm saying is, like, characters like Tyreek is loyal. He's loyal to his family even more than his father is, and that's a point of contention. That's all I'm saying. Um, but that's what I appreciate about Power. Like, when you have to stand up, to your father, can you do it? But with Mobland, who's gonna stand up to Conrad? Is it gonna be Harry? Because he has to. You know what I mean? He doesn't know what he's doing or why the hell he's doing it either. Like, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. The only thing he probably did on his own was choose to sleep with the girl, but really she slept with him. You know what I mean? He's just out here living. And matter of fact, well, no, I was gonna say the only thing he chose to do was go to the party, but it doesn't even seem like that was his choice either. So, exactly, he ain't loyal. He ain't even loyal to his dad, to his mom. He ain't loyal to nobody. Like, if Conrad slapped, if Conrad slapped, um, Bella, you think Eddie about to stand up to Conrad? Not at all. And that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on to see who's gonna stand up to Conrad. I mean, Maeve will do it, but in the background. Like, she ain't about to just stand straight up with the knife, like, what's up? Yeah, I mean, and even when you look at like these titles, Stick and Twist, Jigsaw Puzzle, Plan B is crazy. Funeral for a Friend, Antwerp Blues, The Crossroads, Helter Skelter, Beggar's Banquet. There's a lot, bro. And then the cool thing is you got like the cops involved. Then you got undercover cops, got like double agents. You know what I mean? Like you got a lot going on, and for like upper level, like it's dope. I mean, it's dope to see everything, but um, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it all falls apart. If it falls apart, if it cracks, and then other people pick it up, or if it just all comes crumbling down. If it takes this season 2, season 3, how do they recover? Because my other fear is like there's no like short like there like usually in stuff like this you have it where there's characters that are like vying for that next top spot, and we don't have clarity on that. So if it goes down the toilet, who's gonna pick up the pieces? Can we give some love to Guy Ritchie? He has been putting out quality entertainment for over 20 plus years. Classic UK satire with the episode titles. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, get them subtitles out because you're gonna need it. Because you're gonna be like, what he say? And they're like talking trash, and you like, what? A lot of banter. I mean, I think that's the only kind of backstory thing that we got was Conrad with his best friend. But yeah, we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. We're gonna touch base on Wednesday. We really gonna talk about it like in detail. I mean, we got the chainsaw scene, we got the hotel scene, the damn near the bait and switch, the diamonds, the stick and twist. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but we'll get into all the full like nitty gritty details on Wednesday. I hope I didn't spoil it too much, but watch it. Like if you didn't hear nothing I said this whole night in 2 hours and 49 minutes and 20 seconds, watch Mobland. I don't care if you don't watch Mission Impossible, Lilo and Stitch. What else did we talk about? Karate Kid, Legends, Final Destination. If I didn't give you no gems at all, except this, watch Mobland. I never watched Top. Oh, in regards to dialogue. All right. So, like I said, Wednesday we'll circle back. We'll talk about Mobland, the season finale. We'll talk about Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. Probably watch the Ringerverse, Midnight Boys react to Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. I'm gonna try to watch the other installments of Mission Impossible. And then the last thing that we were going to mention, some things that are on the radar for June. Alto Knights. There's a film. Let's just give just a moment to just appreciate Robert De Niro, who got like a 1-year-old that's still out here making money. It's crazy. Robert De Niro is 81 years old and he's still putting out movies. That's crazy. Anyway, it's saying the most dangerous enemy is an old friend. All right, so that's the movie. Does Robert De Niro play two characters? He's in a dual role as a 19 mob boss, Vito and Frank Costello. Okay. In the 1950s, notorious New York crime bosses Frank and Vito vie for control of the city streets. Once the best of friends, petty jealousies, and a series of betrayals place them on a deadly collision course that reshapes organized crime forever. And that's the thing that Mobland is kind of missing, like that, like we were once friends, but now we're like enemies. All right. Unholy Trinity. Why are you saying 2024? Oh, I did. Yeah, this is a weird one. Buried seekers of an 1870s Montana town spark violence when a young man returns to reclaim. A young man returns to an old Montana town to reclaim his legacy. He's caught between a law-abiding sheriff and a destructive stranger as old seekers lead to violence. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. Pierce Bronson, Samuel Jackson, Brandon Lassard. Um, I did see like a teaser of that. Initial release October 12th. I don't know, the way that these dates be, they be so jacked up, bro. You don't know when nothing's coming out. Um Predator Killer of Killers. Yeah. I do um I am definitely interested in this. So it's a movie, but it almost looks like an anthology, saying it's a prequel to Prey and a sequel to Predator Badlands. Predator Badlands also comes out this year in November. So we'll keep that in mind. I still haven't seen the Predator movies except for AVPs. I've never like watched Predator 1 and 2. So probably something I should do before Predator Badlands comes out. I did see Prey. I'm not a fan of it as other people are, but I am excited to watch Predator Killer of Killers because, like I said, it got like this 3D like thing going on, and it looks kind of like an anthology where they like grab up people from like different cultures and time periods and put them in like a coliseum. So interested in that for sure. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, Ballerina from John Wick. How to Train Your Dragon 28 years later. Predator Killer of Killers coming out on Hulu. I don't know what Echo Valley is. Yeah, I don't know any of the rest of this stuff. And then I guess some stuff is moving over to like streaming. And again, it's like very hard to kind of to keep up with this stuff, man, because dates get shifted or they don't give you like real dates. This Elio movie looks pretty interesting. This one with like the boy, he got like one eye and then he gets abducted by aliens. That might be pretty good. Also, I got to figure out when does did I say How to Train Your Dragon? Yeah, June 13th. Never seen that either. So I'll probably watch the cartoon before that movie comes out. Yeah. And then July Superman, and so is Fantastic Four. All these legacies. Um, July 11th is Superman. Fantastic Four First Steps comes out July 25th. Yeah, man. So we'll see. It's like, does it feel like a slow summer? When does Jurassic Park come out? Even though I don't, or Jurassic World, I don't really care. But, oh, July 2nd. Yeah, does it? Yeah, right? A bit surprising. I'm a bit afraid of the Predator movie doing too much with the anthology style if they try. Yeah, that's why the one that was like the video game one that came out, it was like the first floor or something, or fifth floor or something. Secret level. Um, it was a hit or miss for me. I don't even know if I finished it. It was just doing too much. You not ever seen Predator 1 and 2 is why we disagree so much on good cinema. You're welcome. June 2025 not having a more blockbuster movie released this year is a bit surprising. Yeah, it's almost like people got scared or something, right? I'm still at 4 over Superman in terms of anticipation in July. Now, what I did hear, which again, I don't have 100% clarity because I don't always believe all the rumors and stuff, but I'm hearing that Fantastic Four might be like a bit of like a mind twist, kind of like a Lovecraft Country. So like they're not giving us everything that they're saying that they're giving. Shout out, we just hit 3 hours, which is crazy on a Sunday night. So thank y'all to everyone that hopped in and said hi. And, appreciate y'all. What was I saying? I got so excited. Oh yeah, Lovecraft Country. So, and as a side note, if you haven't seen Lovecraft Country from HBO, that season, um, with Jonathan Majors and Journey Smollett and Michael Kenneth Williams and Wunmi Masaku, it was really dope. Definitely check that out. But anyway, like a Lovecraft Tarian or whatever version. That's what I'm hearing. Fantastic Four is supposed to be. So, like in the trailers, we're getting like it's supposed to be like this straight up movie, but it really might not be. I'm all in for whatever Fantastic Four has to offer. If it's not good, I'm going to blast Marvel. Forgive me, excited for nothing. Um, how did you say you felt about Thunderbolts? Where did you land with that? A, B, or C? How would you rate that? I, People were definitely more excited about it than I was. More excited than I was. Um, I like one of my favorite characters in Marvel is Silver Surfer, and that was before the Fantastic movies had ever come out. I used to have like a giant Silver Surfer with the board and everything, and then when the movie came out and he was able to like go through the board and like turn himself on the bottom, man, one of my favorite characters. So, and Jessica Alba has always been fine. So I don't care if this one does good or not. Like it's never going to be better than that for me, probably. Um, cool, they're bringing in Galactus. Now, all right, since we talking about Marvel, now we got to talk about Doom a little bit, and then I'll let y'all get out of here. The first 5 episodes of the 10 episode season of Lovecraft Country was good. My favorite episode was the one with the like future Afro-futuristic one with the girl. That was my favorite episode. All right, but like I said, Thunderbolts was good. Get out of the house occasion. To me, no more, no less. Fair point. But are you gonna buy the Blu-ray DVD? All right. So the last thing I'm a touch base with, as far as Marvel rumors are concerned. I don't have this on authority. Again, I try to stay out of the rumor mill. Two things. One is that they're pushing all the movies back. Avengers Doomsday. And then what was the one after Avengers Doomsday? Secret Wars. I heard that they're getting pushed back. I don't know why. Two, I heard Fantastic Four is doing reshoots, like currently, to make it kind of like be good. And three, I'm hearing that Robert Downey Jr. really may not be Doom. I'm hearing that Robert Downey Jr. It's basically going to be one character walking around with the face of RDJ. And then before the end of the movie, he's going to strip that off and be another character, be another actor underneath. So he's going to come back looking like Tony Stark on purpose. Kind of how like Mysterio could kind of like do illusions and stuff. And he's purposely going to look like Tony Stark. And then for whatever reason, he's going to take off that kind of like shell and be like another actor underneath, which I think is the worst possible thing that you can do. You have friends. You have been friends with you enough years to know when you were trolling me, I'm not buying the Blu-ray. I said it was a rumor. I don't know that. I don't know if it's true. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. I don't know if it's true or not. Again, I try to stay out of the rumor mill because I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. I apologize. Spoiler alert. RDJ may not be Dr. Doom the whole movie. That's what I'm hearing. And I think if that's true, I think that's the biggest trolling that Marvel could ever do. Because they may, I mean, this is what, 1 or 2 years ago that they announced this whole thing? When did they announce as Doom? July 2024. So a year ago. Made this whole thing, made this whole parade, and all of this because they had to do it early just for them to now try to push stuff back. All these movies making all these promises, all these schedules, and then they turn around and push all of this back. And this dude may not even be Dr. Doom. And one more spoiler alert, since we're doing spoiler alerts. I have heard possibly that Tom Holland has not signed his contract yet. So I don't know if he's in the movie with RDJ. And I think that's the second worst thing that they could do. Because I think if anyone would be emotionally like tied to him or seeing the face of Tony Stark, it would be this version of Peter Parker. Especially because after No Way Home, he literally has no one else. I muted you. That's hilarious. You're right. I did spoil episode 8. I'm sorry. Did I though, or did I just ask you good questions to lead you in the right direction? See, it's how you think about it. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think Marvel again is trying to jump the gun and like like I think like if they this year came out and was like, yo, RDJ is rumored to be in in Doomsday. Is it Doomsday? I always get that confused. Yeah, in Avengers Doomsday. If they just said now, like this year, RDJ is gonna be in Doomsday, but the schedule got pushed back, I think everybody be like, okay, cool. I'll take a pushback for RDJ. But you announced it a whole year earlier, got all of the schedule and stuff up, and then you start moving stuff around and cutting stuff out. Blade is falling apart. Don't know when Shang-Chi is coming out. Don't know when Eyes of Wakanda is coming out. Don't know when Wonder Man is coming out. Don't know when the next Spider-Man is coming out. Don't know. We didn't even talk about Riri Ironheart when her show was coming out. Forgot all about that. Are they gonna do a Eternals 2? What happened to Vision Quest? I mean, it's all bad. Ironheart comes out June 24th. With 6 episodes. And 3 come out June 24th. Maybe they're gonna do half and half. I don't know. That's hilarious. You definitely spoiled it. You are done. You've been on live too long. See you on Wednesday. All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Are y'all looking forward to seeing Ironheart? Is the last question of the night. Thank you for coming through, Sandman, with the cane. Ooh, no, that's getting clipped. Oops. I was trying to do a picture and it put up the thing. It just ain't happening. See, this is what I was talking about with the Sandman trying to pull me off the stage. Anyway, I feel you. Look, I feel you. We don't even know the relevance of anything that's going on right now. And then, like I said, they just pushing stuff back. Then they make all these preemptive announcements to lie. That's where we at, and then we got all these rehashes of old franchises. So that's where we're at. Thank you. Anyway, I love y'all. Um, y'all have a safe and healthy week coming up. It's June. Make sure y'all do y'all safety briefs. You know, watch how much liquid you putting in your barbecues, and not trying to light old coals, and watch your electricity, and no tripping over fans, and you know, make sure you use electrical tape and not duct tape, and you know, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. But 3 hours, I hope it was well worth it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday again for Mission Impossible and the Mobland season finale. So you guys got 3 days to catch up. 4 if you start tonight. And that's it, man. Let me know what y'all watching, what I need to put on my radar for June. And we'll talk soon. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, thank you. It was my birthday last week. Yeah, and I know y'all don't care, but your boy got bronchitis and pneumonia for the whole weekend. And I was, you know, coming up here for y'all. That's how much I love y'all. So I will holla at y'all later. Thanks for the birthday love. Yada, yada, yada. Peace.